Hello, Marianne. Thank you so much for joining me today. And it's a Friday evening. And yes, you're looking forward to a wonderful weekend. But first of all, Marianne, I just want to say I'm so pleased that you've joined us on our Introbiz Swansea and West Wales journey. We've known each other for many years. And just talk to me, Marianne. Tell me a little bit about yourself for the people who don't know if there's anybody who doesn't know who Marianne Pettifor is.
That's the trouble with being in the marketplace so long. I think everybody does know me. I can't be naughty or anything like that. I think, well, my career has always been in marketing, sales, particularly sales, which I love. I thrive in a sales environment. I am a serial entrepreneur with quite a bit of experience behind me, but yeah, I met you. Funny enough, we talked about me being a mentor when we were in the Grand at one of your amazing events.
Yes.
Where I met some really interesting people. Do you remember?
Yes, that's true. And you've come on board as our mentor, and I must say I'm very pleased. But tell me, Marianne, have you found it a little bit different since the pandemic? The kind of concerns that you come across amongst the business community?
I think so. I think at the beginning there was nothing. When a business relies on face-to-face and contact with their customers, to go from that to absolutely nothing, I can't blame them for being a bit depressed about it. But I think one of the advantages when we joined Introbiz that we suddenly had these really active, motivational meetings, not just when we had our coffee mornings and our networking, but when we had these wonderful speakers like the one you had this morning, and everyone felt lifted, they felt better, they felt there's life after the lockdown, and I think that was, at the beginning, a major concern with the lockdown. They just lost all their face-to-face contact.
That's right, and then that is why we actually thought we would make these meetings more frequent, whereas before we only had one breakfast in Swansea and one ladies' lunch in Swansea. What we found is people needed a little bit more of that kind of community that much more often to be able to keep afloat and to keep hope alive and to keep visible. So how have you, Marianne, how have you done that at this time?
Well, I think like most people, the two areas really. One is when you learn off everybody about the other way of doing business, not just the Zoom way, but many other ways using, electronic communications, the internet. So there's that side of it, which has enabled me to have more meetings with my clients, which I wouldn't have had. And I think when we're networking together, we're learning off each other about opportunities that we may not have seen. And so it is what you call the new normal. I've started, I'm writing a new website because I intended anyway this year to go out on my own as an individual. So I'm doing an individual site as Marianne Pettifor, as well as the consultancy and the other businesses.
Yes.
So I'm really excited about that because I do a lot of public speaking, and it's time I had a proper site for that. So looking forward to it and getting lots of ideas of people about how they're approaching this particular challenging market.
Yes, brilliant. So, Marianne, you've been coming to, I think, almost all of the events we've had, the online events with all the speakers. Any highlights for you?
I think, there's a couple of aspects. I mean, apart from the learning, I mean, I think everyone has enjoyed the speakers, and you can see just by the chat, people going on to chat and making their observations that we're all taking away just a small snippet, but that's all you need. It's fantastic. A quote, a different idea. I think this morning's speakers showed me that my goals maybe are too narrow, and that I should be thinking a little bit more global, a little bit more ahead. So we're learning all the time from each other. That's quite an educational benefit to it, being a member of Introbiz. And the other thing is I'm a people person, so sadly without people, I'm not me, I'm not Marianne. So the comfort of having all these people who are my friends around me, the familiar faces and the not so familiar, the new ones, I really enjoy that.
That's incredible. And that is so true. But, you know, Marianne, we're taking it for granted that people know all of what you do. Take some time and tell us about what you do, all of what you do, in as succinct a way as possible.
Well, I will. My passion's always been the same, really, in business. I love the chase, getting new customers, keeping them. I got a strapline on my consultancy, which is we measure our success by the customers we keep. So I'm a big retention girl, love to form relationships. So when I started Frogmore Consulting, I got all that benefit of relationship selling, having clients that I knew really well. I've had some of my clients over 15 years. So the little consultancy, and it is a small consultancy, independent, that runs in South West Wales for tourism, is quite successful. But I do have, you know, I've started my own nursing home and I've been a director. I had a recruitment company which I built to sell, which is an amazing experience and was very, very successful. I can remember having a $250,000 turnover within 6 weeks. But somehow or other I still managed to get into trouble with the bank, which I think is all brand new businesses struggling when they start, don't they? So yeah, quite a few businesses behind me, but it is all about my passion. I just love the sale. I love the new business.
So the nursing home, is it still open?
Yes.
So how was that? Tell me about that with the pandemic.
We have a 27-bed nursing home in Llangennith with 8 bungalows in the grounds for people to retire to. You had to close it straight away to visitors. But on the whole, we haven't had the virus and we haven't had too much trouble. We've lost the odd person because of old age, but it's going quite well. Good. I've also got a property management company, which despite lockdown is absolutely buzzing, because you can actually carry on in a different format with the virtual tours.
Exactly.
And
it's all about what they call pivoting, isn't it? And that's what we've had to do here in Introbiz.
And you were, may I say, you were quick off the mark too, because a lot of companies took a long time to catch on. But I can remember seeing and going to one of your events, and the next thing I know, I was on a coffee morning with you. So hats off to starting quite quickly, because we needed it. We needed it for the motivation.
Yeah, we had to respond, definitely had to respond. So we're going to wrap up now, Marianne, and we'd just like the viewers to know that shortly we'll be releasing a full podcast. We'll be talking to you more about your very, very colorful and interesting and exciting and commendable past, and all of what you're still doing now in more detail, and what you have up your sleeves. You know, you always have your bag of tricks, Marianne.
I do.
So, right? So,
I have a lot to say.
Yes, and a lot that's worth listening to. So, Marianne, I want to thank you so much. Thank you for your candid account of your experience, what we're still experiencing. And I look forward to talking to you in more detail on the podcast. And until then, is there anything you'd want to leave our listeners with, Marianne?
No, just to get involved, you know. Something about a business that when it's inactive, it can be quite depressing. So get active, get involved, and you'll feel much better about business.
Yes, and get visible. Stay visible. Stay visible.
Visible's everything. And thank you for talking to me today. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much, Marianne. Catch up soon.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.